Well, happy Monday, everyone. Welcome to the Rock Your Life Team Zoom get together. Happy to see all you guys. Hope everything is going amazing. We're on like our 30th day of being, 150 degrees or more. I don't know if everyone else in the country is melting like we are, but the humidity is like off the charts right now on top of our heat. So I understand the Texas, Mona. I'm sure you guys are experiencing that down there. So anyway, before we get started tonight, I would like to open it up for some shout out celebrations. Want to give somebody a high five, celebrate something that happened awesome for you. We haven't seen each other for 2 weeks, so there should be lots to celebrate.
I can go real quick, Jojo.
Sure.
Go ahead, I just want to thank everyone who's been popping onto those calls I've been holding, the Zoom calls where I've been running through a PowerPoint presentation. I've had some guests on, and just having a few extra heads on there is very helpful. And I'm looking to hold many more of those as the days unfold. So thank you.
Awesome. Good for you. So for those of you guys who don't know what's happening with that, let me just kind of fill you in quick. So every Thursday, Laura and Pam and I had started doing them just with, their little section of the team. And then when we did the Blitz, everyone decided that it was going to be something great, that we wanted to do a virtual launch party every single week. And so Laura and Pam and I had started doing them, and we've had several other people step in and do them during the week. And then we asked Chad to host last week, and it just kind of sparked him off to be doing. So he's been doing one every single night. So I don't know how long he's going to do that, but for sure we're doing one every Thursday night. And if anybody feels like stepping in and doing a testimonial or hosting one night, or, it's a quick 20 minutes in and out. So it's easy for people. It's at 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern. So would love to have everybody involved in that and support. So it's obviously not just, for new people, but it's also for us to be there to support and learn and be able to take the reins and step up and do one. So thanks. Kudos, Chad. I hear flute music coming from somewhere. Am I the only one that hears that?
No, it's not.
Okay, I was starting to wonder if I had. Okay,
I'm big into Native American music.
Good. No, it's totally cool. I was just trying to figure out where it was happening. So
I'll turn it down.
No, you're good. Thanks. So next celebration, shout out, gratitude.
I'll do one.
Okay.
Just had James and I hosted our first launch party. Just kind of funny, couple of guys doing everything that I see 90% women doing in this group. So you kind of stop and think. You wonder, anybody who's doesn't know you, they making judgments about two guys up there talking about nutrition, But we did it for an audience of one, and got to sign up for that. So the health fair we did a few weeks ago at Elizabeth Park, I got to sign up for that. So far we're batting 1,000 for for doing these things. So James has been great. He's on vacation this week, so he can't be on, but he's already got a few more scheduled, because he very much wants to get beyond where he is right now. And, he definitely sees this as a vehicle to do it. And he was in a different nutrition MLM company, and he's very happy with the way things go here and what we're doing. And, he's very happy that, I'm making decisions, whereas before the person he was talking to had to go check with somebody else. So, and what he's been describing to me seems pretty crazy, but we definitely got something great going on here. There's very much a lot of autonomy, a lot of freedom, a lot of encouragement, a lot of support. So it really is amazing. So we've got more coming up, and I'm excited to report on those too.
Cool. Awesome. Well, good for you guys. Way to step up and do that. hold the launch party. Hey, and even to do a booth. And so for any of you guys who don't know this, once upon a time before we had this thing called Facebook, and Dave and I were out building a business, we did an expo booth almost every single weekend. If anybody would give us a space, we would do it. So I don't care if it was a gun show, an art show, a craft fair at some kid's school. It didn't matter if they would give us a table. We never paid a lot of money for them, because there's some that, you do expo booths can be thousands of dollars. We would do, maybe the maximum would be 200. And, sometimes they were free, sometimes they were $25, whatever. And not only is it cool because everyone needs help, it doesn't matter who walks up to your table, but usually the other vendors were our best potential clients. And so know this, Dave and Carrie came from a booth. So if you didn't realize that. Tammy Hess came from a booth. So if you guys know who Tammy is, she's a millionaire in the company. I came from a booth. Jen Page came from it. Janie Zach came from a booth. I know I'm missing, there's so many people in our line that we met that came in and really are still here, have rocked the business with us, and all came from somebody we met at an expo. So, simple to do, set up a table, throw some empty product up there, and just chat with people. Friend them on Facebook and throw them into the community. It's such a great way to meet people. Anyway, Thanks, Paul.
You're welcome.
Jojo, I have a question real quick. Because I know that Dave and Carrie did come from a booth, and I think Carrie won the 9-day system, right? Mm-hmm. So can we do that? Is that compliant to do something like that where we, now, can we do something like that? Or
Sure.
Would that be now? Okay.
No, it still is, because you're doing a raffle. People are voluntarily signing up for it. I mean, you could give away anything you wanted.
Okay.
If you wanted to give away, you could give away a box of chocolates, you could give away anything. I mean, it's not, because you're going out there, you're promoting yourself. It's, you're not throwing it all over social media and doing something that someone else couldn't do. And you don't have to give something away, but, we would all chip in together and give something away. Okay. So everybody that was involved in the booth would chip in $10 or, it's never something that's this crazy exorbitant, thing that we'll give you $5 million if, no. But I see what you're saying, because that would give, giving away a product would be an unfair advantage to somebody. And
can I jump in on that one a little bit?
Go ahead. Are you there?
I was just
okay.
Yeah. I was just going to say the difference being is you're not advertising a booth all over social media, and that's what the compliance issue is all about, because people will promote things on social media that other team members or other people can't keep up with financially. So they might say, if you join my team, I'll give you A, B, C, or D, and everybody on their team can't give somebody A, B, C, or D. They might only be able to give them A or B. So it's more of a level playing field thing. Now, if you're in your own booth, like in a show or what have you, and you're not recruiting somebody by saying, I'll give you this if you sign up. You're having some sort of a raffle saying, here's something, that's a little bit different. So they still tend to frown on things like that, but not as much as an actual promotion of, I'll give you something free that other people can't give you. You know what I mean?
I see how it definitely could be a gray area. Just because you're giving something away and it's still a raffle. I'll get clarification on it. But good
Thank
question.
you, because I did the raffle on my Facebook page, not for anybody who hey, sign up, but it was just, hey, if you've never tried Isogenics, I'll do a raffle from the people who've never tried it, and I'll send you a sample or whatever. And so I just wanted to make sure that was compliant, because that is on social media. So
right. And I would tend to think that in a smaller setting like that, you're maybe talking to a random 20 people and not 2 billion people. There could be some differences there. So, Miss Mona?
I think that the difference is with Anna's, she's not expecting them or telling them buy this and get this for free. She's just saying drop in a comment. There's no obligation to anything, and I'm just willing to share some samples, because we can share samples all day and night. We just can't say I'll share my samples if you buy a 30-day system. Just like the raffle, leave your name. I'm not asking you to buy anything. I'm just saying leave your name. You might win something.
Well, what it comes down to is a recruitment tool. Even that, I've checked with compliance on that, and even that they frown upon, because you are technically recruiting people to your team by having a raffle. So they just don't want it on social media. That's what it comes down to. If it's private in your home, if it's at a booth, but social media, you can reach out to 2 billion people on social media and offer something that someone else can't. And that's what they're trying to cut down on right now, because there are, big leaders in this company that have a lot more resources than most of us. And if they decided to do something like that, everybody would enroll with them and no one else, because they have the resources to do it. That's why they try to make it a level playing field.
Right. It was all good points, though. And so I think still we will get final clarification on it. But even doing a booth and not doing a raffle, if you connect with them on Facebook right then you're able to add them into the group right away. Once upon a time, we didn't have that. So we had to have them sign a form, put a little, ticket in a raffle box, whatever we did, whatever we could to get their information, so we could go back and follow up with them. But if you are connecting with them on Facebook right then, you're automatically putting them in the wellness community right away. There's lots of good pieces and parts to that. And so anywhere, just a thought of, if you have the opportunity to do one, I would definitely just hop in and do it. Cool. Anybody else? You have a celebration that you drove across country almost?
I have a gratitude, actually.
Yay. Okay.
I have a huge gratitude to Paul, to you, Jojo, to my brother Tomas, and to everybody on the team who took a moment to like or comment or congratulate me on becoming a Team Isogenics member. And I'll be honest, guys, I became a member so many months ago, and I am still kind of shocked that I'm on the team. So I didn't even want to put it out there because I couldn't even believe that I'm really on the team. And my brother found out, and then Paul found out, and you found out, and it ended up being kind of this cool show of support. And because you guys were so supportive, I've had other friends out there that are like, wow, congratulations. And as I try to share my perspective as a runner that doesn't look like a distance runner, or as a normal person that can get out and run really long distances, you guys congratulating me, supporting me, patting me on the back gives me some legitimacy out there as I talk to other regular, normal people that want to try to do not normal things. So for each of you guys that said congratulations or gave me a like or heart or something, I just sincerely, with all my heart, want to thank each and every one of you, because it's going to help our entire team, and it's going to help our communities realize that anybody can do crazy things if you just try a little harder and push yourself and become a little uncomfortable. And having it out on social media actually makes me a little uncomfortable. So thank you all for making me a little more uncomfortable.
Well, good. And now really I'm going to post it up again and make you one more uncomfortable. No, we're so proud of you, Mona. And, don't think for 1 second that you don't deserve every bit of recognition that you got. In fact, when Wendy told me, I was like, what? she didn't even tell me. So we are so proud of your accomplishment. And 300 marathons is a pretty big accomplishment.
30.
Okay,
30.
well, to me it feels like 300. So we are so proud of you. So, but you are so welcome. I was actually
going to give Mona a huge shout out, because that is especially because I saw your post where you said, I didn't want to share the fact that I've done this because I'm not your typical runner, and that's a huge accomplishment to be part of that team. And it just shows your dedication to yourself, and it's just amazing. So when I saw that, I was my heart swelled with pride. So congratulations.
Cool. So, and on that note, I guess we'll shout out for Wendy because, you know, she's our other Team Isogenics member, and she, I guess, came in #1 in the whole challenge. So they did a challenge inside of Team Isogenics. And so Wendy came in first place in all of that. So she took the top prize, which was very cool. So kudos to her for doing that. And then, so for those of you guys who didn't know, there's what we have, it's called the President's Quest. It's a very elite group of individuals inside of Isogenics who have really proven themselves to not only be able to build their business, but build with their team to help them advance. And that President's Quest only takes 8 people every single year. So if you think about how many people are in Isogenics and really building, to be one of the top 8 in the company is such a huge thing. And Josh and Lisa got so close to that. They were number 14. So even to miss it by that little margin, but when you realize how cool it is to come in 14th in the whole that's the whole world. That's everybody. So that's a pretty huge accomplishment. And so kudos to them. And so as we're talking about challenges, I just want to chat a bit about the new challenge. So I don't know if you guys have had a chance to look it over, but it's called the Championship Challenge. And it's sort of like an ISO Derby. So for any of you guys who don't know what that is, it's where a team works together to create points based around certain activities in the company. And so enrolling, having people order on auto ship, also Healthy Mind and Body, ISO Body Challenge. There's lots of things that give you points. And so you want to put together a team of 6 people. And can they be all over the place? Sure. Would it create more momentum if everybody was linked together? Yes, but it doesn't have to be. If you have somebody that you work really well with, then grab their, link arms with them and run. So if you guys haven't had a chance to look over the flyer, it actually goes from July 1st, so we're already in it. They're already counting points, to December 31st. So it's quite a long challenge. So it's really more of what they call an ISO Derby. And the top 25 teams, so the top 25 6-person teams, will be going on a cruise. And it will also be the top 50 individual point earners. So there's a couple of specifications. Did anybody read over the flyer? You guys all know what I'm talking about? Okay. So you get points for enrolling people at the 150 BV mark. Seems to be the new mark for everything. So to enroll somebody with 150 BV points, which is either a premium pack or a 30-day or higher, or you can piece together whatever comes to 150 BV or one of the other packs that you can do, and then piece some stuff together. But so 20 points if you become a consultant, 10 points if you develop a new consultant, 40 points if you become a manager, 20 points if you develop a new manager. And 30 points if you enroll somebody new with 150 BV or more, and then each time they would auto ship for the next 6 months, you would get another 20 points if they do 125 BV. To become director, you get 60 points. To develop a new director, you get 30 points. Executive rank, first time you hit executive will be 100 points, and to develop a new executive will be 50 points. And then beyond executive, if you increase above that, would be 125 points. And then there's also points for healthy mind and body. So there's no reason that anybody can't have individual points too for healthy mind and body if when you enroll, and also if you have a personal enrollee who enrolls in healthy mind and body. And the same with ISO Body Challenge. You will get 10 points for enrolling and 10 points for your personally enrolled person who enrolls in ISO Body Challenge now. So starting July 1st. So there's an important thing to this, is that from July 1st to December 31st, let's say your team wins, or is one of the top 25, every single person on that team will have had to enroll 10 people in that period of time. If you have not enrolled 10 people, then 5 people on your team would go and 1 would not. You don't want to be that one. So it would be 10 enrollments over the 6-month period. Is that 6 months? And so I know for a fact in the very first ISA Derby, one of the teams that was in our group won, and one girl did not do her very small amount that she needed to do. And all 5 of them went on the trip and she wasn't able to go because she didn't hit a requirement. It was kind of sad. So we don't want to see that happen. So if you guys want to link arms, if you need to know who your upline is or who you want to, if there's people that you want to connect with, and I can help figure out how to put your team together, or you want to mastermind around that, and you guys want to, I'll be glad to look in upline and see who you're connected to or whatever, if that helps. So, any questions around that? Anybody already have a team?
Just the championship challenge, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, that's the new one that they just, it just was posted up today.
Yeah.
Mona?
And JoJo, we have until September 10th, right, to enroll?
Yeah, there was specifications.
I think it was, September something. I'm almost positive it was 10th, but.
I know it said
somewhere. September 10th.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Individuals can enroll after that. They just can't be a team.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Mona, did you have a question or something?
I did. I'm just curious. What is the ballpark figure for a team to actually win one of these? Like, is it like 1,000? Is it like 10,000?
It's always been different.
Okay.
But this is the first time they've ever done 25 teams. So there's a pretty wide margin as far as being able to hit that mark. Plus the top 50, that's, you know, I bet we have people right now in our team that would fall into that. For sure. So that's a good question. I don't know what the average, I wonder if we could, let me see if I can go back and look at the old challenge and see like what the top ones were. It's probably gone offline now, but I might be able to find an old one somewhere. But that's a good question.
The points are really different on this one too, though. They're really high. Like the last one, I think that it was like 2 points for this, 1 point for this, and this is like 56.
Good point.
Like the point numbers are going to be really, really high. But relative, I'm sure you could figure it out.
True. So is everybody going to hop on a team? Yeah? It's a great way to get kicked in the pants for the next 6 months. They have 5 accountability partners to keep you rolling. Cool. You know, and challenges and promotions sometimes fire people up, and sometimes that doesn't fire people up. They go, what's a cruise, or it's just the point of being on the team and working together and seeing what kind of momentum you can create, right? So there's some good things that can come from it. Awesome. Okay. Everybody watch the video. Let me just shut that off. Everybody watch the video or listen to the audio, I guess, is what the question. Yeah. Anybody not? Okay. So I'm going to, so before we go into that, let me just throw out a thing too. So if you haven't watched it after this, it's going to be important that you do, because you're going to want to really understand this piece. And I know that we get involved here, and then you enroll somebody and somebody goes, well, now you're a leader. So now, we get thrown into these roles and these positions. And a lot of times, we aren't ready for that. So we really believe above everything else that this is a personal growth development plan attached to compensation and breakfast, right? So is that the quote, right? So when we aren't always taught how to work inside of a team environment like this, how to navigate through personalities, we're not always taught those things of how to, when you go, why does somebody do something that they do, or why does that person act like that, or why does this person say that, or what? So we look at a lot of times and we question why, but we don't really have answers. So I think that in listening to Tony, and I've been listening to him for a little while now, Vinny and I started listening to him as a challenge from Beth, who is our life coach, to find a personal growth person that we could both resonate with. And, Vinny's not the real touchy-feely guy, and Tony's not the real touchy-feely guy. So we like Tony, he's the person who doesn't live in what we would call la la land, where we're just in visionary world all the time. He's actually more of a realistic guy. So when you hear him talk, it comes from a little bit of a different place than a lot of the personal growth people that are out there. But in understanding that every single person comes equipped with 6 basic human needs. So anybody who watched the video or listened to the audio, what was the big aha, like just right off the top of your head? Katya, you're unmuted. Does that mean you have something to say?
Sure.
Okay.
When he said people will give up their goals, dreams, and values to meet their needs. So people are willing to sacrifice what we talked about, their core values, if those needs aren't met. And the example he gave, it can be a really, really bad situation if people look to meet their needs and are willing to give up goals and values. Like the example he was given about some of the terrorists that are out there, for instance. And so I wrote that one down as
that was a good quote. Yes, for sure. Okay, so let's go over the 6, just so for you guys who haven't listened. Somebody read off the 6. Raise your hand again if you watch the video, so I know or listen to the audio, so I know who I'm yelling at. Okay. Dan, so what's the 6?
I didn't write them down. We just had it.
Okay, do you remember?
Certainty was one of them. Uncertainty was one of them.
Okay.
Like belonging or something, or
connecting.
Love and connection.
Yeah. Being like recognized.
So significance.
Yeah. I can't remember the last one.
Okay. So we have certainty, uncertainty. So interesting that certainty and uncertainty are both a need. Significance, love and connection are considered one. Growth and contribution. So certainty, how can you need to be certain and uncertain at the same time? So if everything in your life, you just knew what was going to happen at every turn, you just knew at every second that this was going to happen. And if you did this, then this was going to happen. And if you did that, then that was going to happen. What would life be? Very certain and very what?
Boring.
Right? So we definitely need variety in our life. And we know that uncertainty, it's so interesting that we want to be comfortable, and comfortable is certain, but we can only stay there for so long before we start to look for something that's uncomfortable or variety. And that can come in many different forms. It can be positive or negative. And every single one of the basic needs can be positive or negative. They can be empowering, disempowering, or neutral, right? So is it lifting you up? Is it taking you down? Or is it neutral? Is it lifting somebody up? Is it taking somebody down? Or is it just neutral? So did anybody see themselves in the 6? Or think that you know what your top 2 are? Because he said everybody drives off of 2 typically. They have a top 2, and they can interchange, but Did anybody recognize there too?
I think mine are love and appreciation and uncertainty, which seems so contradictory. Yeah, which seemed contradictory to me, but
totally could be. You dislike surprises. Anybody else? Dan, did you pick out your two?
No, yeah, I didn't have a chance to. I want to write them down and like really think about it, but definitely some stuff in there.
Yeah.
I wasn't 100% sure yet.
Okay.
Mine are certainty and love and connection.
And so can you explain why you feel like those are yours?
Well, I think for me, I get a little motivated more when I know what's happening all the time. I get a little frazzled with uncertain stuff. So, yeah, I kind of like knowing what's happening today, tomorrow. I mean, I've got plans for the next 6 months. So, and certainty, certainly, I'm very comfortable with that. And who doesn't like to be loved and who feel it and be connected with people? So, yeah, those are definitely my two.
Good. That's good. Thanks. Somebody else want to share their two? Chad, did you get your two? Was he frozen? Or he's just very focused? Mona?
I am very much a contribution person. 99% of what I do in life has to do with contribution in some capacity, and significance is my other.
Good. Why significance? What part of significance?
Value, significance, feeling like that I have a purpose and am valued is very high on, which is why I like recognition, which is why the shout outs was really pretty cool, because that range, I don't like, as far as motivation, I don't need money. I'm not money motivated, but I am very recognition, support motivated.
Interesting. So if you know that about somebody, right? So we have somebody on the team who is very money motivated, but you have somebody who's very recognition motivated, and you know the difference between the two. Don't we want to recognize them in their language?
As soon as you find out, the hardest part is finding out what motivates people. Finding out what deeply motivates them. Once you find that out, as a leader, that's half the battle. The rest is just feeding them what they need to be fed so that they continue to produce. And whether it be pats on the back or money or prizes or whatever, you just keep throwing that at them so that they continue to move forward and progress. Finding out what really is their motivation is the challenge, because most people don't know what they're truly motivated by. Like, I am motivated more by fear than I am success. And I've worked really hard over the past 3 years to get to the mindset of, I want to be motivated by success. I don't want to be motivated by fear. And I used to teach leadership classes at a college, and I would ask the students that, like, is it okay to be motivated by fear of failure? And some students said, yeah, absolutely, because at least you're getting to the end goal. And other students were like, absolutely not. That's a terrible way to be motivated. But my response as the instructor was, isn't the goal just to be successful, whatever it takes to get you there? And it's a mindset shift for me to transition from fear of failure to desire for success. It's a spectrum.
Interesting. I like that. So do you guys think that by just knowing people, so some of the people that in your circle, can you tell just by what they do and how they act and things they say and what their drivers are? Can you tell? Because there's some people that I know that I can totally tell. And maybe
people,
go ahead.
No, I was going to say there's some people and that's what I found interesting, was that he said that you should be able to look at somebody and almost instantaneously figure out what their motivator was. And I was like, you can do, because you do this for a living. But I found that interesting that, that he said that, because, I go back and I think of relationships that I have, and there's some people who I can, for certain, I know what their motivators are. And then others that they will surprise me and I will question it. So, I'm with Mona trying to figure out what their true deep down motivators are, I think is a lot more challenging. And other than them coming out and just flat out telling you, I don't know how he does it.
Well, and it's funny because when you hear him tell the story, right? So somebody walks up to you and puts a gun in your face. You think all the things that they get from that. So certainty and uncertainty, because every time they put a gun in somebody's face, it's going to be different, right? So you get certainty and uncertainty. Then are we also connected? We're connected big time. If I'm standing there with a gun in your face, we're connected. And how significant am I in your life at that moment where I have a gun pointed at your forehead, right? So it was interesting that he talked about how if anything that you do, any behavior, thought, or belief gives 3 of our basic human needs, it can become an addictive thing. So do you think that, when you look at people who are violent over and over, or do something like that over and over, what they get from it, that actually feeds 4 human needs to do something like that. So that's why sometimes you see violence perpetuate over and over and over, because it meets so many of these needs. Even though it's a negative, it's not good, it still is feeding the need. So it's interesting to me how on both sides of the spectrum, you could say, okay, total significance, I get significance by contribution and giving, and I feel good about that, but I can also get significance in someone's life by creating havoc, because that, right? So if you think of it on both sides, it's interesting. So when you look at somebody in your space who could be doing either one, and if you really listen closely to what he says, I was able to pick different people who I could go, I totally see that in them, or I totally see, and you didn't see that in the person with the gun before, or the girl sitting in front of the store with the tattoos who was looking for significance, but also, her little Tigger keychain was, you could see the love and the connection and what you got out of that. So what was interesting to me is that I thought the very first time I listened to it, that my 2 drivers were love and connection and growth. And as I've sort of unpacked a lot of things in my life and different situations and things that I do and what drives me and what fires me up, all of those things, I believe that certainty and significance are really my 2 drivers. Growth and love and connection back those up really closely, but significance and certainty, I am, and you guys all know me, I'm a control freak. So letting go of that, that is a really uncomfortable place for me, because it makes me uncertain. Right, Gail? Not that you're a control freak. I'm not saying that, but you know what I'm, right? So it was kind of an interesting thought. So, but if you can see these things in people, how can we not only think of them differently in our life, but then also be able to navigate through and understand why they're driven to do things, and, perhaps feel differently about something that they've done, or understand why, right? Because we why question a lot. Why does somebody say this, or why does somebody do that? We know there's no answer to the why question ever. But what if we can just go, I totally see that, their need for significance drives that. And so perhaps I could feed that and help them instead of push back, right? Does that make sense? So I don't know if you guys are seeing how important, because I see this little piece of the puzzle as such a huge important piece in our lives, in our businesses, and how we deal with people, and how we understand people. And Katya is overheating because it's 116 degrees outside. So
not me, but my phone. It's about to die. I'm like, oh,
it's all good. So don't mess your phone up. Let it shut down. So can you guys see that in some way? So somebody chime in and can give me your thoughts on.
Well, I think these 6 traits that people have, it's obviously a good way to get to know people and how to build your business if you know exactly what motivates them. It's kind of like the 4 love languages in a way. It's whatever the motivation may be. 5 love languages, sorry. Whatever their motivation may be, if you can pinpoint that motivation, it not only helps you understand that person, but if you're business partners, it makes you a better business partner because you know what you can do to, when they're having a bad day, what can pump them up and everything.
True. Anybody have a thought? Miss Deb, you're all smiles over there. Want to chime in?
Yeah, I felt I kind of liked his podcast because there are a lot of things that I connected with. I also believe, though, that what kind of motivated us at a different time, like earlier, most of us earlier in our lives, obviously has changed or does change. I really do believe that it does change. And I think, obviously, personal development is huge for all of us. But when you recognize, of these 6 things, what you were and where you're leaning towards, I think are huge. And I think that that's what this whole personal development thing is all about. And I know I've changed a lot from when I was younger. And I'm looking at these things, and I would really, I want to like really listen to that again. I really do. First of all, I was driving when I was listening to it. So I was like, oh yeah, oh. So I was half distracted. But I think this is really big stuff. And I think I agree with the fact that if you can step back and see that in others, obviously it would help you determine how do you work with them? How do you react to them? How do you just try to understand them? I think it's an incredible podcast, actually. And I thought that example of his little goth person was massive, and yet here she was 13 years old, trying to be 20. And then with her little Tigger thing came out, it's like she's still her little 13-year-old. But they're trying so desperately hard to be a part of this adult world and sort of say, I'm here and I can do this, but they need to grow into it. But most of us don't get that. It's not that we don't get the opportunity, but we jump too fast. And, our lives catch up with us because at some point we have to step back and say, wait a minute, what's real and what isn't? What do I want to do with this? I don't know. Some of the stuff I took out of it.
Good. Thank you. And yes, definitely listen to it again. I've listened to it a ton of times. I get something different out of each time I listen. I think I go on thought trips and I'm up here and he's still talking down here. And then I go, oh, wait a minute. Okay, I got to rewind it and listen to it again.
Exactly.
Thought tripping off somewhere. Katya, what were yours?
Before my phone dies. Mine were significance and actually uncertainty. I do like surprises. Kind of freaks me out when people have everything planned out. But it's almost more like what you just repeated, what he had said, knowing that if 3 of those needs are met, I could become addicted to that behavior. It almost wants me to want to pick them with that thought, what do I want to be addicted to? What is the feeling that I would like to be addicted to, or what's the behavior that I would like to be addicted to, and which of those needs will support that? So seeing if if it is significance right now and uncertainty, so what is the third one that would fit in there in a positive way that I wouldn't mind getting addicted to?
Well, that's an interesting question. There's something to ponder. Thank you. Chuck, did you watch the video or listen to the audio? Did you get a chance?
Okay, it's signing off. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Natalie, do you need cheese for tonight?
She thought she was signing off. It's all good.
I need cheese.
Me too. Chuck, were you able to listen to the video? Audio? Whatever the thing is. I say YouTube, so it automatically becomes a video in my brain.
I watched like the first 10 minutes.
Oh, cool.
I remembered about the last minute here that we were supposed to watch the video.
No, all good. All good. So it will be good to go back and do. So did you get anything quickly that out of that 10 minutes that you think you can?
He was talking about the law. I just seen the law of attraction and some of the things that we manifest in our brains or what kind of personality we have. So I didn't really get a chance to watch all of it.
Okay. So it'll be interesting to go back and take a listen. And I think especially when, you come from that background of leadership in any way. So if you think leadership, anybody who's been a manager, anybody who's been in the military, anybody who's led, anybody who's led a team, it's such an interesting thought process to put together, because I totally believe that I weave in and out of these a lot, with certainty always being, sort of my number one. But Vinny would say, no, she's not a control freak. Oh, honey, you would say that, wouldn't you?
Well, what I did get from just listening to that, you guys talk a little bit about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I could be off. I haven't watched it. Like I said, I haven't watched it, but finding what motivates people, it just comes down to basically actually getting to know them and connecting with them. And once you get to know a person for who they are, the things that they do and what drives them is going to come out. And if you're able to see that and apply it, then you're going to be able to lead them or coach them or whatever to what that motivates them, because leadership and all that just comes down to influencing them. And if you know what drives them, then you're going to be able to know what influences them.
So true. What was powerful for me was, I had somebody, like something happened, and then now I've been able to go back and kind of unpack the situation and totally see, like after I listened to this, I was totally able to see what the driving force was behind that. And so when you understand that and you understand where someone's coming from, then it's almost like, how could you possibly, ever hold a grudge or feel angry or like, obviously the hurt or the whatever's there, but you can totally understand where the driving force comes from. And when you understand that, and even if it's on the negative side, you totally get what they're trying to feed. And then on the other side, what you're trying to feed, right? So you have two dynamics in the mix, which is interesting. So that's what was sort of huge for me. Chad, you want to add something in?
Yeah, I'm looking at the uncertainty piece, and I went through this training about a decade ago when it was fairly new, and uncertainty used to freak me out, and now it doesn't as much. It's almost like Katya was saying, it's almost an addiction. Because just from a business example, I'll be on LinkedIn and I'll hit the connect button on a PT in Australia and set up a Zoom call like this, just one-on-one with the person. And, a few months back, it would have freaked me out. but I still would be excited about it because it was uncertain. It was something I wasn't comfortable with. And then I'd get on the call and it's like, it's not a big deal. You're just talking with someone. So it's the uncertainty piece. Certainty used to be like my number one, but now it's uncertainty, because the only way that you're going to grow as an individual, the only way you're going to grow as a human being is if you put yourself in as many situations where you're uncertain as possible. And you know when you're about to enter one of those scenarios, because it's going to feel, you're going to get butterflies. It's going to feel uncomfortable. But I guess that's one that's jumping out at me right now, is the uncertainty piece. Because in order to succeed, I mean, you listen to Vaynerchuk, in order to succeed, you need to be uncertain 99% of the time, and uncomfortable and uncertain and just feeling out of your element. Because once you feel out of your element a few times in a row, that's going to be your element.
Then you have to go get a new uncomfortable zone as it grows.
Well, it's like Sinek talks about, your zone's going to start to grow, and it grows and it grows and it grows. And then all of a sudden you're this completely different person who before you couldn't get up on a Zoom call with 3, 6, 9, 12 people. Now you're standing up on stage in front of 4,000 people. And it just took going from this little circle to, this huge sphere. So and you're not going to do this, generally speaking, working a 9-to-5 job. I hate to say it. If we continue, we on this call have chosen to step outside of that conformist path of staying in a 9-to-5 job forever. If you stay in that 9-to-5 job, that's 8 hours a day where you're just you're confined. And it's going to take stepping out of that comfort zone eventually when you feel it's feasible to get to that point where it's uncomfortable and you're like, wow, this is really uncomfortable. But then over time, that becomes your comfort zone. I've been listening to Todd Falcone's training. He's like, I have never, other than a blink of an eye, has he been in corporate America where he's had to go to work 9 to 5, because he's always been out of his comfort zone. But his comfort zone has just gotten his uncomfort zone, and he just busted right through it every time. And that's one thing. I mean, this is kind of a session for Chad now. I'm kind of rambling a little bit. I hope people don't mind. But I'm done with the 9 to 5. I'm so done with the 9 to 5. I could sit here. If you guys look at my desk, like I have stuff all over the table here. It's a complete melee. It's got names and lists and conversations I've had with people and all this stuff. I'm so done with working a 9 to 5 because it doesn't challenge you, man. Being uncertain challenges you. Would you guys all agree? Just nod your head if being uncertain challenges you. Like Mona, you've had several instances this past year where you've been uncertain and uncomfortable on this call, and you just busted right through it. Mary, you too. A few weeks ago, you got on here and you're like, you were reciting something, or I think you did the script, and you busted right through it. It sounded like you'd done it 100 times. So we're all on here, and we're getting better every day because we're pushing each other. And, just like I did back when I was officiating hockey, and I reffed with this gentleman who used to have my back and would call out all the coaches who kept yelling at me. And he would kick those coaches out of the game, and he would protect me. And he was like my big brother. And his name is Paul Holland. But, all right, enough of me talking. I appreciate you asking me, JoJo. Did you know it was going to go this long?
No, but that's okay. It was good.
So uncertainty.
Awesome. All right. I feel good with this. I was glad I listened to it. I've been pushing several groups that I'm working with to actually delve into this a little bit deeper and look at this a little bit more, because I just think it's such a huge piece. And in some of the work that I'm doing, personally, some of the stuff that I'm putting together and some trainings that I'm creating right now, this is actually going to be kind of a huge part of it. So I think it's really important. So thank you guys for indulging me and watching it. And if you haven't watched it, I know you totally want to go watch it right now or listen to it right now because you're very intrigued as to all of it. And anybody who has listened to it already, it's definitely the challenge to go listen again. I've listened to, I can't even tell you how many audios or videos that he's done, and I haven't ever like come away from one and went, wow, well, that was really stupid. That really stinks. Or everything, I've gotten something out of every single one. And I'm now on a multiple listen of the one that he did with Oprah on Super Soul Sunday. So really good piece. It's really long, but it's really good. So anybody wants to go back and listen to that, definitely. It's a good listen.
Is that also on YouTube, JoJo?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Tony Robbins or Les Brown are usually the two guys that I listen to first thing in the morning. So if you ever want anybody to get you pumped up and prepped and ready to go, those two guys are definitely it.
I'm so fired up that he's coming to Celebration. It's like,
if you want someone to irritate you, Gary Vaynerchuk or Grant Cardone. They'll get you really pissed off.
Awesome.
Like pissed off in a good way. Is this a platform where I can ask a quick question, JoJo?
It's a platform for anything.
Because Marlene has a few nurses that she's working with who are coming to her so that they can purchase wholesale through her. And if they don't go through her, they're going to buy off of Amazon. And I'm very disappointed by this because I know Isagenix frowns upon it, but it's pretty regular occurrence where these girls are like, yeah, we'll buy it from you or we'll just go buy it from Amazon. There's one girl who's been purchasing it from Amazon for about a year. I thought that was frowned upon and that the company was all over it.
They are all over it, and understand that it as soon as they take some down, others pop back up. It's a constant. The work that they're doing on IT is incredible. What the back end compliance department is doing, the work that they're putting into that. We met some of the team that's working on that, and how much it goes into. It's incredible what they're putting into getting those down and getting those people's back offices shut down. And I mean, there's serious stuff to that. So I would give them an offer of ordering when there's a free enrollment. So there's free enrollment all week. So if you guys didn't know that, there's free enrollment all week for 150 BV or more. And then, and I would also have their nurses, they should understand the point of them getting product that could potentially be tainted. And I just watched a whole thing yesterday or the day before about two people that are in Isagenix ordered product offline. So they're in Isagenix, ordered product offline, and compared it to the shake that they had at home that they know that they got from Isagenix. Is not the same shake. It's not the same shake. I don't know what's in it. They said the other one tastes like Ovaltine, but it's the same chocolate shake in the same canister, but it's not the same shake. So who knows what's in that? Who knows?
How would you suggest that we deal with it? And these are people, they're not looking to do a 30-day. They're just looking to buy a couple canisters of shake, which I think it's defeating the purpose. But what would you suggest, Ben?
So I would ask them the question if are they open to be educated? Go ahead, Mona.
When I was growing up, my best friend, very best friend since like little kids, her family owned a convenience store. And when I wanted a Coke, I had to go in and pay for a Coke. And when I wanted gas, I had to go in and pay what everybody else was paying for gas. Like, this was their livelihood. This was their business. And she was very nice by saying, this is my family's business. And in order for my family to pay our bills, everybody has to pay. And it didn't hurt my feelings. She set the standards from the very beginning. And after that, we're now in our 40s. We're still very best friends. I still go buy gas from her and I still pay what everybody else is paying because That's her family's business. And I think that if we are just open and honest with people, because people ask me all the time, and I tell them, no, I'm sorry, I can help them set up an account. We can figure out a way for them to save their $29, but I can't give away my business. I'm not in a financial position to give away free stuff.
And on that note, when they're throwing product up on Amazon, number one, it could be tainted. Number two, they're stealing from families.
So when they ask for you to use your account for, products on a discount, or when they go online, they really are hurting you and your family's business. And I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, I've got value here that I bring from my own personal customer service standpoint, and I'm here to serve and support you, but that does require you to pay $29, open up an account, and you're going to get way more than $29 worth of value by just taking those simple steps and just being honest and have a conversation with those folks, I think is the best bet.
Thank you,
cool,
Mona.
thank you.
I love that. That's such a great approach. And Vinny's going to come at you with compliance right now.
Yeah, you knew I was coming with that. You're absolutely 100% correct, Mona. And I love everything you said. I don't think I could have said it better myself. The thing about it is that even though these people want to do it that way and use your wholesale account, right now is a perfect time. We're giving away free membership for a week. So they can get it that way. They can still get their wholesale prices without having to spend an extra dime on it. But you also don't want to put yourself in a position to where you get in trouble as well because we're not supposed to, as by our policies and procedures, use our own wholesale accounts to give somebody else product at wholesale prices. That's not the way it's set up to do. And we understand that Amazon and eBay and people like that are doing that. But those people have been getting busted. We just watched one unfold on Isagenix Business the other day. This woman went on Amazon and actually ordered off of it, and she somehow she was on Isagenix Business. I don't know how she was on that page, but she complained on Isagenix Business that the person she bought it from on Amazon had their business cards and everything on it and were trying to make her buy a business. She complained on Isagenix Business about it, and that's how Isagenix Business found out that this woman was selling on Amazon. So it is. I wouldn't say it's as rampant as it used to be, but it's still out there. We have a team of lawyers working on it, and they're trying to solve the problem. But another problem that goes along with that is Amazon and eBay are not required to give personal information on their sellers to another company. So it's really hard to find out who these people are, especially when they're using mass accounts. But they are working on it. But I would just have Marlene tell her friends at work that, right now we have free enrollment. This is the best offer we can give you. Please don't buy it off of Amazon. You don't know what you're buying, and just go with what Mona said. Mona said it perfectly.
Well, and on top of that, they don't get team support. They don't get community. They get nothing out of that. They don't get free coaching. And so if you think of, a lot of people will throw that at me. And so as in my position, so as a certified nutritional consultant, I can get a minimum of $150 an hour to sit and nutritionally coach somebody. I do that all day for free when they're in Isagenix. So when you look at it's where we come into building the value up of what it means to be involved in that community. Where else can you walk into a community of nurses and doctors and nutritional professionals and athletes and PTs and all of the people that we have and all the knowledge that we have for free and get coaching? Nowhere. So the value that we offer is way more than what they ever spend.
And I wonder too, Chad, if people don't realize that, because I've had people ask me, well, can you just buy it for me? That they think that I maybe get a bigger discount than what they would get if they open up their own account. And so I always tell people, whether I buy it or whether you buy it off of your account, I pay the exact same price. So it's not like Isagenix is giving me a greater discount because I choose to share it. everybody has the same playing field. So maybe kind of reiterating that, because I think there are some companies that, depending on what level you are, whatever that you do, you get greater discounts. And Isogenics doesn't do that. So
it annoys the heck out of me when she comes home and she says, "Can you add this to our auto?" I'm like, come on, this is not how I want to run a business. I'm not working my ass off at home so that they can wave the carrot of, "Oh, we'll buy it from Amazon if we don't buy it from you." What? Dude, I don't want people's business like that.
Well, and so do you want to support my family, or do you want to support some random thief off of Amazon? So that's your option. If you want to go buy Ovaltine, I can direct you to aisle 13 at the grocery store. So, it's
in that case, even though it's harsh language, I mean, in that case, you just have to say, you know what, I cannot do this. I can't take the chance of damaging my own business and my own family because you want to get a shake for the price I paid for it. I can't do that. Here's a way to go about it. So in that case, maybe you have to be a little harsh and say, I just can't do it. I'm sorry. I would rather see that person buy it off Amazon, and I really hate to say this, and them have not so pleasant of an experience from buying it from Amazon than for you to put your own self or this company in jeopardy.
I think part of the unfortunate part of the thing that happens on Amazon is somebody has an experience off a product that they get there, and you can't ever say that what was in that canister was correct. And we already know, we've had issues with people, having a bottle of product B they bought off Amazon not make it through the TSA check line because it set off the bomb detector, or, there's so many things that are crazy that go through Amazon. And I'm telling you, it was like yesterday or the day before, I was researching protein. I don't even remember who I was having a chat with, but we were researching protein, and I actually clicked on a link that was an Amazon link that led me back to this page. And I was reading comments, and in the comments it said, I ordered this and I also ordered Isogenic shake. And it is not the same shake. It is not the same shake. Do not order from this seller, blah, blah, blah. But how do you know who you order from? How many people read the comments? They look for a price and they click on it, and that's what they order. And I will tell you what, that canister shake was $70.
Wow.
$70. So who knows what they're paying for it on Amazon, but $70 is I don't know how that was cheaper. Right. So there's lots of things that could create value. I think that could help that conversation.
Thank you very much for taking the time to discuss that, because that's something that's been pissing me off, to be completely transparent.
I get it. It's just something that we have to deal with and learn how to have the discussion around. And but I love Mona's take on that. So thank you. All right, we're like way over time. It's Monday night. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Listen to the audio. It's an audio. Listen to the audio. And go rock your life. Bye, everyone.
Bye.